Let me ask you something strange. When was the last time you were bored? Not waiting for a video to load. Bored. Actually bored. Sitting somewhere with nothing happening and nothing to look at. No scroll, no tap, no notification. Just you and your own thoughts. If you are trying to remember and nothing comes, that is the problem. This is a story of the day I put my phone in a drawer and left it there for 24 hours. One full day. No Instagram, no messages, no maps, no music, no YouTube. Nothing. I want to be honest. I did not do it because I'm wise or disciplined. I did it because a friend challenged me. She said, "You cannot last 6 hours." I said, "I could last a week." We both knew I was lying. So we agreed on 24 hours, and I immediately regretted it. The phone went into the drawer at 9 in the morning on a Saturday. By 9:15, I had already walked to the drawer twice, not to take the phone, just to look at it, which is somehow worse. The first hour is the strangest one. There is this feeling, hard to describe, like something is missing from your hand, like you lost something, but you cannot remember what. You sit down, then you stand up, you go to the kitchen, not because you are hungry, just to do something. You open the fridge, you close the fridge, nothing in there was ever going to help. You open it again anyway, just in case something changed in the last 30 seconds. It had not. This is called restlessness. That uncomfortable, itchy feeling when you cannot sit still and you're not sure why. Like your body wants to do something, but your brain has not decided what yet. And the thing is, the restlessness was not really about the phone. The phone had just been the thing that made the restlessness invisible. Every time that feeling started to rise up, the phone was there. Open an app, scroll a little, gone, problem solved. Except the problem was never actually solved. It was just hidden, pushed down, put away for later, and later never came because the phone was always there first. That first hour without the phone, I felt everything I had been skipping for a long time. There was also this moment, maybe 40 minutes in, where I genuinely could not remember if I had a plan for the day. Normally the phone tells me, calendar notification, a saved note, a message from someone. Without it, I had to actually think. I stood in the middle of my room trying to remember what day it was and what I was supposed to be doing. It took about a minute. A full minute just to locate myself in my own week. That felt a little alarming, honestly. By the second hour, something shifted. I found a book on my shelf that I had bought 14 months ago. The receipt was still inside it. 14 months. I had carried that book from one apartment to another, put it on shelves in 2 different cities, and never once opened past the first page. I sat down on the floor, not the sofa, the floor, for no real reason, and started reading. And here is the thing nobody tells you. When your phone is not nearby, reading is different. Your eyes do not jump to the corner of the page looking for a notification light. Your brain does not wait for a sound. You just read. One sentence leads to the next. The story builds. Time moves differently. I read for almost 2 hours without noticing. 2 hours. I genuinely cannot name the last time I did anything for 2 hours without stopping to check a screen. Even movies. I watch movies with my phone next to me, flipped face down, telling myself, that counts as not using it. It does not count. Everybody knows it does not count. Then came the afternoon, and the afternoon was harder. Habits, The things you do automatically, without thinking, are sneaky. I did not realize how many of mine involved the phone until the phone was gone. Waiting for the kettle to boil? Phone. Walking from one room to another? Quick glance at the phone. Eating lunch? Phone beside the plate, screen facing up, because just having it nearby felt better than nothing. Even in the bathroom, and yes, we are going to mention the bathroom, the phone was always there. Reading nothing important, just present, just in case. Without it, I had to sit with those small in-between moments. The kettle takes about 2 minutes to boil. I know this now because I stood there and watched it. 2 full minutes. I thought about 3 different things. Remembered something I had been trying to remember for a week, and noticed that the window above the stove has a small crack in the corner that I had never seen before. 2 years in that kitchen. Never noticed. Attention, really paying attention to what is in front of you, is a skill. And like any skill you stop practicing, it gets weak. Mine had gotten very weak without me noticing. I also realized something about meals. Lunch that day was the first lunch in a long time that I actually tasted. Not because the food was different. The food was rice and some vegetables, completely ordinary. But when the phone is not there, eating is just eating. You chew, you notice the flavor, you look out the window. It sounds basic because it is basic. That is the whole point. Basic things feel good when you actually do them. The social part was interesting. At around 4 in the afternoon, I went for a walk. No headphones, no podcast, no navigation app. Even though I was going somewhere slightly unfamiliar. Just walking and looking at street signs like a person from the year 2003. The neighborhood looked different. Not because anything had changed, because I was actually looking. There was a man sitting outside a small shop reading a newspaper, a printed newspaper, the kind on actual paper, folded in half the old way. There were 2 kids drawing with chalk on the pavement. One of them had written their names so large it took up half the street. Bold choice. Respect. I made eye contact with people, smiled at a few of them. Some smiled back. Nobody was performing. That word means acting or showing off. For an audience, nobody was recording anything. Things were just happening, and then they were over, and that was fine. The moment did not need to be saved anywhere to be real. At some point, I sat down on a bench and did absolutely nothing for about 15 minutes. I was not meditating. That is the practice of sitting quietly and training your mind to focus on the present. I was not journaling. I was not being productive in any way. I was watching pigeons argue over a piece of bread. One pigeon was clearly winning. The others were just hoping for a mistake. It was genuinely entertaining. I feel no shame about this. Evening was when the real question arrived. I was making dinner, and I wanted to know something. A small thing. Something about a word I had heard earlier that day. Normally, I would have searched it in about 3 seconds and moved on. That evening, I could not. So I thought about it instead. Turned it over in my head, made a guess, wrote it in a notebook I found in a kitchen drawer. The notebook had not been opened in over a year. There was a shopping list from last winter on the first page. Milk, bread, batteries, something that said, the green thing, with no further explanation. Past me was not very helpful. I kept writing anyway. By the end of the evening, the notebook had 7 things in it. Small things. Questions, observations, a sentence from the book I liked, a description of the chalk kid's name on the pavement. None of it was important. All of it was mine. This is what smartphones quietly take from you. Not big things, just small private moments. The thoughts you have before you turn them into a caption, the feelings you feel before you take a photo of them, the experiences that stay in your head instead of your camera roll. We have started giving everything away in real time immediately, the moment it happens, and keeping almost nothing for ourselves. We document the meal before we taste it. We film the sunset while barely watching it. We share the moment while being only halfway inside it. I slept at 10:30. I know this because I looked at the actual clock on the wall, not a phone, a round wall clock with numbers on it, like something from a school classroom. I had genuinely forgotten those existed as an option. The room was quiet in a way it usually is not. No screen glow anywhere. No charging light blinking in the corner. No habit check of the time one last time before closing my eyes. I lay down, and my mind just moved through the day the way minds used to do before there was always something else to look at. The bench, the pigeon, the crack in the kitchen window, the chalk name taking up half the pavement. I fell asleep faster than I had in months. I know that sounds like something people say to make a point. I am telling you, it is actually true. There is a reason for it too. Screens emit something called blue light, which signals to your brain that it is daytime and slows down the production of melatonin, the chemical your body uses to prepare for sleep. Without a screen in your face for 2 hours before bed, your brain gets the message on time. The body does what it is supposed to do. You sleep. The next morning, I opened the drawer. The phone had 43 notifications. Most of them were nothing apps, asking for attention the same way a bored child tugs on your sleeve and then has nothing to say when you look down. A few messages from friends, all of them perfectly fine and none of them urgent. One reminder I had set weeks ago for something I had already done. 43 things that, in the moment, felt very important to check immediately, and not one of them had actually needed me at all. I stood there holding the phone, and I felt something unexpected. Not happiness exactly, not like some big problem had been solved, just a small, clean thought. You were fine. The whole day, you were completely fine. Nothing went wrong. Nothing important was missed. Nobody needed you in any way that could not have waited. The world did not require you to be available every 6 minutes. And in the space that opened up just one day of space, you read, you walked, you sat on a bench watching pigeons, you noticed a crack in a window, you slept properly. You were a full person for a whole day without broadcasting any of it. Here is what this actually taught me. It was not about the phone being evil. The phone is a tool, a very good tool. A calculator is also a tool, useful, helpful, makes life easier. The problem is not the calculator. The problem is when you reach for the calculator to solve 2 plus 2 because you have forgotten that you already know how to do that yourself. The phone fills silence before the silence can do anything. And silence is not actually empty. Silence is where your brain sorts things out, rests, makes unexpected connections, comes up with ideas. This is not an opinion. Neuroscience, the study of how the brain works, has been explaining this for years. Your brain needs unstructured time. Time without input, meaning information coming in from outside. Without that time, it cannot fully process what has already come in. You are essentially running a computer that never shuts down and then wondering why it runs slow. We keep scrolling. The brain keeps waiting for the break that never comes. What I actually changed after that day Not everything. I still use my phone. I did not move to a cabin in the forest and start growing vegetables. But a few small things shifted, and they stayed shifted. No phone for the first 30 minutes after waking up. Just coffee, some quiet, sometimes the window. It sounds almost too simple to make a difference. It changes the whole morning. You start the day inside your own head instead of immediately inside everyone else's. No phone at the table when eating alone. Harder than it sounds. Worth it every time. One phone in the drawer afternoon per week. Not a full day. Just a few hours where it is somewhere inconvenient on purpose. Not dramatic. Just inconvenient enough that picking it up requires an actual decision instead of a reflex, an automatic action you do without thinking. And the notebook stayed on the kitchen table. Still there. Still getting used. One last thing. There is a word in Japanese ma that roughly means the space between things, the pause in a piece of music, the silence between two words, the moment before an answer. In Japanese design and culture, that empty space is considered just as important as everything around it. The pause is not nothing. The pause is where meaning lives. We have almost no ma left. Every pause gets filled immediately. Every silence gets a soundtrack. Every empty moment gets a screen. We are so afraid of the gap that we never find out what was supposed to go there. That one day gave the pause back, just for a little while. Long enough to remember what it felt like. The phone is genuinely useful, truly. But so is the drawer. Use both.